Good evening. My name is Ken Williams. I'm currently a student at Aspen University, currently enrolled in substance abuse prevention, ADC 605. And so I wanted to talk about the strategic prevention framework. In module three, we're talking about capacity. And so I wanted to answer the four questions. My prevention program is targeting substance abuse prevention for the elderly. If we look at the elderly population, they're a population that is prescribed more medication. They're also a population that's underserved as far as prevention and also ignored in a sense to where um, they deal with substance abuse issues, and because the percentage is so low and they're in the minority, as far as the elderly population, their percentage is about 17%. They often go unaddressed, and so and then with society progressing, it's hard to find substance abuse programs targeting the elderly 65 and older. And so my prevention program would be to target the elderly and to conduct pre-screening for substance abuse disorders at all medical visits. And so first, when I look at the first questions, which is how might you improve awareness of substance abuse programs and readiness of stakeholders to address these problems? And so the first, I would have to identify who are my stakeholders. And when we're targeting the elderly population, I would look at the stakeholders as potentially being law enforcement, local government agencies, local nonprofit agencies, definitely our healthcare providers in the community, local businesses, local universities, and research institutions. And so once I identify who my stakeholders are, and then I believe that opening the door for collaboration to have each stakeholder come to the table and present an idea and then find out what their strengths are and then assign them certain tasks. I think that when you're putting together a project, you have to have structure. You have to have goals and you have to have visions, and those goals and visions have to be outlined clearly for each stakeholder to see. And then each stakeholder who has strengths as far as they bring connections to the tables, they may be able to bring funding to the table, and they or some may be able to bring just extra staff and experience and diversity to the table. And so I would look at each collaborative team member or organization within the team, see what strengths they bring to the table. And then once we find out what strength, then we look at starting to bring training in to train the stakeholders, to train the volunteers, to train the staff that we bring in, so we can be aware on what our elderly population is dealing with, what substances are harming them the most, and then how do we go about funding prevention programs, and how do we go about um, deploying or even encouraging our physicians and our nurses and our healthcare professionals to conduct these pre-screenings and show them the benefits of it, the studies of it, the importance of it. And so as far as readiness, we would definitely want to be well trained, to be experts, subject experts, when it comes to what the elderly population is dealing with when it pertains to substance abuse, and how can we get ahead of it, make prevention programs that cater to their needs, that's easy to understand for them, that's not too fast, but also knowing uh, kind of their language. We also need to bring diversity to the table, so we can address every um, cultural difference or aspect as far as when it comes to the people that we'll serve. So I believe that awareness first starts with education, and then also identifying who our stakeholders are, who our volunteers are, who our staff members are, and then having them well trained. So the second question is, what can be done to strengthen existing partnerships and or identify new opportunities for collaboration? I think when we look at strengthening current collaborations, it is definitely giving each stakeholder a say so in the process. I think when you look at strengthening something that's already existing, it's good to have quarterly meetings with representatives from each of the collaborative stakeholders in any organization that's a part of this prevention program. To have a quarterly meeting, or it could be a weekly meeting or a quarterly meeting or a monthly meeting, to have all the representatives for all the stakeholders come to the table, share ideas, bring new research or new findings to the table. We can discuss them. We can find out areas where we should target more, which communities should we target more if they're more impacted than others. And so I think that giving each stakeholder a say in the process, making everybody feel important and valued. Everybody can come to the table or at that quarterly meeting or whichever we decide to schedule that meeting on, and to share ideas, share progresses, share barriers, and then we can put our brains together and find out how can we overcome barriers. Also looking at progress. I think strength comes from seeing progress in the work that we're doing, and also being able to lean on each other and encourage each other. And so I think that when you want to strengthen old partnerships, is definitely checking in on a consistent basis, examining the work that we are doing, and strengthening those areas that we need strengthened, and and give praise to the areas that we are excelling in. When it comes to establishing new partnerships, I think that you always keep the invitation open for new partnerships to come in, and then always be on the lookout for new partnerships, because what you find out is that a lot of people or a lot of stakeholders have similar ideas, or may have similar ideas, and just don't either have the funding to get it off the ground. They don't have the personnel to get it off the ground. They don't have the connections, or maybe just the experience. And so each new stakeholder may be able to bring something incredible to the table that's not already present in the group. And so establishing new or developing new connections is keeping that door open for new participants to come in, extending that invitation, but always being on the hunt to recruit new entities to come in to partner, and also have a voice, find out what their strength is again, and then assign them to whatever their strength is. Question 3 says that what strategies might you use to improve organizational resources? Again, that comes through, I believe, research, in finding out what resources are most effective, whether it be pamphlets, whether it be commercials, whether it be social media, whatever resource that we find that to be most effective. Those are the things that we put most of our funding behind. I think that we have to use research data collectors such as surveys, maybe a call center where we can reach out to some of our targeted population and find out what are their struggles, what prevention programs would they feel comfortable with, what treatment programs that they will feel comfortable with. And so as far as strengthening resources or proven resources, I think that truly comes with hearing the voice of our targeted population, seeing what they're dealing with, see what resources are most effective, what would draw them to treatment, and then also what's most effective as far as preventing them from getting to the place of having a substance abuse disorder. And the final question is, what needs to be done to develop and prepare the prevention workforce? I think that truly comes with just hiring the right staff, encouraging the right volunteers to come forth to participate, and then also making sure that you have diversity amongst the group so we can reach a diverse population, making sure that everybody a part of the project is well trained, not only on diversity with several groups, whether it be the African American population, whether it be the Hispanic population, it be LGBTQ community, whether it be um, any type of community that requires diversity, whether it be our disabled population, being able to be well trained on how to communicate with them, being well trained on the needs of senior citizens, being well trained on the struggles that they deal with when it comes to substance abuse and alcohol use or alcohol abuse. So not only being well trained, but also just staffing the right staff when it comes to funding, making sure that we have individuals brought in that are certified and licensed at handling those things, certified licensed counselors, making sure that our volunteers have those intangibles of passion to do the work and to prevent, and then just maintaining those positive relationships with those stakeholders, with those medical providers, to encourage those just extra minutes to screen our elderly citizens and to ensure that they are well taken care of and that there's no pre-indicators of substance abuse disorders. And so I think that is the key to developing and preparing the workforce for prevention. Is just is showing them the importance of why those pre-screens need to happen. Also, family members, pre-indicators that they may see encouraging their loved ones to attend their medical visits and things like that, and to be open and honest with their healthcare provider, finding counselors and individuals that can speak with and meet the needs of our senior citizens at their speed, maybe get them up to date and work with them on learning the technology of the world. And so those are so important to prepare our workforce in dealing with our senior citizen population. It's just being well trained, not only in diversity, but in so many areas of how to deal with them, our senior citizen population, how to teach them technology, how to ask those screening questions and make them feel comfortable, how to talk to them about assistance if they need substance abuse, how to talk to them about attending treatment, to spend those extra time, even as community and loved ones and law enforcement, maybe to check on them if you haven't seen or heard from them in a while. Just being our brothers' keepers, our brothers and our sisters' keepers, checking on them and making sure they okay, not forgetting about them. And then if you see those indicators, encourage them to seek help early before it gets to a place to where they become engulfed in substance abuse use and then just decline to ever seek treatment. And so that's the area that we don't want to get them to. And I believe that our workforce will be prepared if we're just well trained, multifaceted trained on everything concerning our elderly population and preventing them from substance abuse disorders. Thank you very much.